Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Wealth Preservation Podcast. I am your co-host, Josh Saunders, along with my awesome sidekick, Mark Scyther. Mark, how are you doing today?
Fantastic. I am super excited about this episode because, and if you didn't hear the first one we did with Autumn Cullen of Whole Story Meals, she has an incredible story. She's done a ton. She's got a rap sheet a mile long. And
a good rap sheet, by the way.
A good rap sheet, yeah. We are now going to learn a little bit more of the details of not what she's done, but how she's done it. And right. I think this is where, this is where the rubber meets the road. There's, you look at people who have accomplished, and you're like, that's super awesome, but they all have a story of like, hey, it wasn't a bowl of cherries. Like, it wasn't always, like, oh, I woke up, sun was shining, I did my company, I went to bed, I made money, and boom, it is it's a struggle. So we get to dive, a little bit into that. So
Autumn, thank you for being here. Welcome.
Yeah, no, thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah, we're excited to talk about this. We will kick off this episode with kind of like do the last one is nobody has, after listening to this, you have no excuses. Autumn is a mom of 4 boys under the age of 11, and then her beautiful daughter, Story Grace. So she has 4 boys and a special needs daughter, single mom. And she started a company and is running a company. So
and goes hiking and camping, backpacking with special needs child, with 4 active boys while running a company. I mean, this is all, again.
Yeah, I keep asking myself, what's my excuse now?
Yeah.
Right? It's amazing. Yeah, what is my excuse
I'm
for being
sure
so
you
lazy?
can come up with something.
I have good excuses.
I have confidence, right?
There's a sale at the brewery.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Knee deep, open Saturdays. Yeah. So again, Autumn, welcome so much. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So let's kind of talk about your product real quick and what you have, and then we'll kind of go into your story.
Yeah.
We'll kind of recap last episode, and then we'll kind of kick this off. So talk to us about Whole Story Meals.
Yeah. So I created Whole Story Meals out of a need to feed my daughter a nutritionally dense food.
Yeah.
I wanted her to have real food, no added sugars, something very healthy, but I also needed it to be portable where we could try to maintain an active lifestyle for not just her, but for my boys as well, right? And so there were absolutely no options out there for me. I looked high and low and couldn't find anything. And so what I did is I came up with the idea of having a powder for so that we could, backpack and travel on the planes and things like that. And with using it for my daughter, I realized other people could benefit from this. Like, it was really needed in our community. There's just such a lack of nutrient-dense foods available for tube-fed people. It was something that was definitely needed. So I decided to go ahead and walk towards, crawl towards a company, an idea of doing a company or doing a business and just see what could happen. And it's been a really amazing process. What I have now is, 2 meals. I have kale, quinoa, and berries, and chicken, peas, and carrots. The kale, quinoa, and berries is a vegan meal, and it kind of has this nice little taste, a berry taste, and the chicken, peas, and carrots is a savory, and it's freeze-dried, and which is a really great way to, have a shelf-stable food because it retains 96 to 98% of the nutritional value. So
super important when you're eating through a tube, right?
Oh my goodness, you need every little bit you can get. So most of the other companies out there, they have to heat their foods to a really high, heat to make them shelf stable. And ours is shelf stable for 2 years. Then once you open it, you still have 30 days to use it, which is really great with special needs, just because your child might not always feel well, or you might not always feel well, and you might not want to use everything right then. So that gives you time to use only what you need, and it's a really great way to protect the nutritional value of food is by freeze-drying or cold processing the ingredients. So that's what we do. And then, of course, having a powder where most other foods are liquid, this creates a lot of versatility that's not out there, because with special needs, a lot of them need a low volume meal that's high calorie, right? Well, you can't take away from volume, right? Like you have a product. So with ours, if you can handle a really thick bolus feed, like when you're syringe feeding it. Sorry, I'm going to use all these terms that aren't going to make any sense. But when you're syringe feeding it and you're pushing it in, you can go from 1 calorie per milliliter up to 2.6 calories per milliliter, which is a big deal. You know, it's really helpful trying to, you know, we're counting every single calorie. I see people in Facebook groups, they're like, I scraped the bowl and we got every single thing. And it's like, they count everything. Okay. Because
literally Story Grace's life depends on that.
Right.
It's that important.
She's got to eat well and she needs, you know, everything.
Yeah.
So there's no skipping here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's exactly, it's really great having a powder that makes it so versatile. And then also oral eaters, so people with dysphagia that only eat maybe purees or something like that, they need like a really like applesauce texture or whatever, they can use this as well. And you mix it with whatever you want. You could mix it with juice, make it even more calories, mix it with milk, and get it exactly where you want it. And same for like folks with kidney disease, they need more fluid, they need more water. So there might be a little lower calorie, but a lot more water. And so it's really a unique product as far as its versatility.
Yeah. Very cool. So let's just, for those that on the first episode, can I tell us a quick tell us about Story Grace?
Yeah.
Not that she's more important than your other boys, but let's talk about Story Grace. Yeah.
She was the catalyst.
She's
the catalyst.
Right.
Yeah.
No, so Story Grace was, we found out when she was born that she had chromosomal abnormalities. Right now, she's 5 years old. She is legally deaf and blind. She doesn't walk, talk, or eat by mouth. She is just the happiest little thing that you ever did see. She brings a lot of joy to our lives. I mean, it's very difficult having a special needs child.
Yes.
There's a lot of pain and heartache and like, you know, fear that comes with that. But also, I like to tell people it's kind of like, I think you all see the world in black and white and I see it in color because she adds so much richness and value.
Right.
Like, you know, if you haven't been to that valley, how can you be to the mountaintop, you know?
Absolutely.
And I don't think I appreciated life before having her. You know, now that I have her, I can really see life in a whole new perspective. And my boys too, you know. You know, we celebrate every little milestone. Like last night, she was crawling circles around the living room, and she's lapping the living room, folks.
That's
like
amazing.
this is
for somebody
amazing.
that wasn't even supposed to probably live past one.
Yeah,
I mean, this is
absolutely.
Come on,
it's like
it's
you
a
know,
miracle.
I didn't know that she would ever do this, and so it's exciting. You know, so a lot of joy, a lot of happiness.
Very cool. So for those of you that didn't catch the first episode, make sure and go check that out. We talk a lot about just Autumn's story and how she got Whole Story Meals to where it's at now, and kind of we're going to talk about this episode, kind of what's next, and kind of what you're going through. That's very cool. So we kind of talked about when this idea became a reality, but when were you like, I think this actually might work, right? You kind of had that moment of like, this isn't a hobby anymore, and I think this actually might be a business. I mean, that's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
Because you probably never saw yourself there.
No, I know. Just I started it, you know, for my daughter, Story Grace, and I started using it for her, and I thought, well, I'm pretty sure everybody else, you know, needs this. Everyone needs this. And I'm in these groups of us moms, we're all trying to blend foods, you know, cook them, and we're weighing and counting the grams. And all right, did you cook it in oil or no oil? You know, like you're really paying attention to every little thing. And then you're blending it and, you know, refrigerating it and trying to get it go through a feeding pump that's manufactured. It's designed only for, you know, formula.
Right.
And so there's all these different challenges you have to work through. And some days I want my kids to eat a bowl of cereal for breakfast. Yeah. Right? Like, let's do something easy.
Yeah.
And I would like for my daughter to just have something easy.
Yeah.
But
Dear Domino's, please deliver pizza.
Right.
Can you grind that one up? Yeah. Yeah. They don't do that.
But no. Yeah. That was not an option.
Right.
There's no options. And so this is something I knew that would really help my, you know, my community. And so really early on, I started thinking, okay, how do I get this out there? Because I knew it helped so many people, you know. A lot of tube-fed people on commercial formula, they can be vomiting 11 times a day, you know, because they're consuming so much sugar, their stomachs just cannot handle it. And so switching to real food, instantly, it's a miracle, it seems, that the vomiting stops. So it's really, I love to help people. And I wanted to share this with people. So I knew like pretty early on that I just had to get started and figure it out and start asking the questions and finding the people and making the connections to start getting a business up and going.
Yeah. And I think, I think in particular when anyone's starting a business, this seems to be an issue. And I'm sure this was even more so of a hurdle for you with, 4 boys and, the amount of, things on your list of things to do was prioritizing time, right? Yeah. Like when you think about like, hey, where am I best suitable right now? Like trying to build a business is probably like, okay, well, after the kids are fed, after Grace Story is taken care of, after I've made her food, after all these things, like, so how did you kind of approach that topic of like, okay, well, if I'm going to like, I don't want to neglect my kids. I want to take care of them. How am I going to prioritize my time to get this done?
Yes, it's insanely difficult. Okay, let's just start there.
I was hoping for a really quick, easy answer that I could go apply to my life.
No, sorry. It's just a bunch of hard work. No, I tend to get up around 4 a.m. And so I have, and start working, right?
Yeah.
And so by noon, I've had an 8-hour workday with, well, you have lunch, I guess. Then I take my kids to school during my lunch hour, you know. So I have had to make this a priority. I've had to say, I am going to do this. I'm going to figure it out. And one of the things that kind of fell to the wayside a little bit, which felt very tragic to me, was my hiking. I slowed down with my hiking. Like I was hiking all the time, right? But it wasn't realistic. And even like I was doing a little bit of CrossFit back then, and I had to even pull back from that, which was really tragic. And I don't ever like recommend to people stop the things that you love and that give you value and help the creative juices flow. But for me, I just wasn't able to keep up all the hiking I was doing and do CrossFit and plus the kids and everything else that goes with that, right? Like normal life. So I have had to slow down on some of those things that I've loved and that are important to me. But when I have needed to, I reincorporate those into my life. Like I can tell sometimes I'm like hitting a wall with what do I do next? Or and I'm like, okay, I need to go hiking, or I need to go work out, or
basically step away from the situation a little bit. Right? So do you have like a time hack or anything that you use, or a calendar hack, or is it just basically whatever the next hurdle is, I just try and jump over as high as I can and keep going?
I guess that, on the 4 a.m. schedule, like, do you at least like, hey, to get my day started, 4 a.m. I am doing this every day, or just No,
I'm not like that. I have too many interruptions. Okay, so it's like, I mean, if you had an infant, you're feeding every 2 hours, or you're not sleeping, or I have too much ADD, whatever that is. Like I can't do that, and I don't have some little magical ritual that makes this work. It's just a lot of hard work and persistence, and so that has been an issue for me. Is every time the feeding pump beeps, I have to completely stop what I'm doing, go, okay, what's wrong with the feeding? Why are we not feeding? What's happening? Why is the alarm going off? And then you have to come back. So just trying to work and being constantly interrupted is really difficult.
Sure.
And it's almost like, is my mind working? Like, can I function? Memory loss with, not sleeping at night. So,
you're going to be like the grandma who, there's like, grandma's like watching 3 shows. She's cooking. She's doing all these things. Like, how does she? And she's playing cards at the same time.
No. No, it's been tough. Like it really has been. But I've tried one of the things that's been so beneficial for me is I function better in the morning. So I get up early, and sometimes it's kind of naturally because I am excited to do the next step. And I know, I'll do this fun thing and I will eventually get to the hard stuff. But that is a motivation. Okay, Autumn, get up, get out of bed. Let's get moving. I have something that I love to go do.
Gotcha. So let's kind of dive into the product itself and how you were making food for Story Grace. You're trying to figure out how do I get her nutrient dense, healthy meals.
Right.
But you didn't you didn't have like a commercial dehydrator or a commercial freeze dryer, right? So how did you go down that? When were you like, oh, I should make this into a powder?
Right.
How did that process? How did that?
Right. Well, that's what, I was thinking, okay, what do I do here? Am I going to cook everything and dehydrate it? And so I started doing the research, and I realized freeze drying was a better option. And so, okay, I didn't realize that freeze drying was so much better. Cold processing. Okay, so never mind. I'm going to freeze dry everything. And so then I had to figure out what are the macros that she needs, and, find what would work for her. And so I just started slowly researching all of that and putting it together. And I think something that I kind of whipped together for her, I had done within a few weeks, but the bigger process, of, scaling this, was definitely interesting and not easy.
I mean, a little bit I know about manufacturing, taking something from your kitchen to like mass scale production. And that's not like, you don't just be like, oh, hey, who can make this special thing for me and send it across and then distribute it and do all the other parts that you have to do. So kind of how did that go from blender chaos in your kitchen? I'm sure your kitchen looked like a mad science arena.
I have videos.
To, a bag that looks like that. What was, or at least a powder formula. How did you kind of go down that process?
Yeah, I did a lot of calling around. I mean, cold calling. One time I got the guy, he's like, he's the vice president of the company. He's like, I'm the person you talk to when you're in Target. I'm like, awesome. So what are your thoughts for me? Now that I've got you on the phone.
Well, I plan to be in Target soon. So how do we do
exactly.
This? Right.
Okay. And who do you recommend that I literally asked him all these questions and he told me, and I contacted these people, right? Because, someone has been successful. If they're going into Target right now, then they've done well, and that's who you deal with. I want to know who they talk to ahead of time.
You should have just like tried to turn it on and be like, well, I'm standing in a Target.
Right.
So here we are.
Right.
I'm in Target.
Ready.
Boom. I am in Target.
Right. So I did a lot of calling and interviewing manufacturers, suppliers, like everything. And I would even work with a few people a little bit, and then I kind of would recognize I don't know that they get my vision. Yeah. Or they get the problems that, because we have a unique set of problems. I'm not asking for a fine powder just because, I don't want the gritty taste in my mouth.
Yeah, no, there's
I'm asking
specific, like a literal medical reason it has to be like this.
We have to have it, right? Yeah. And we have to have like the no junk added, because a lot of people, we've got, ingredients for you. No, those don't work for me. Like I want quality.
Well, almost it has to be though. You can't just be like, we can throw a filler. It's not.
No. And I'm sure there's a little bit of a struggle of proving like validity of it. Like, when you're trying to tell someone like, but the rest of the medical community is wrong, right? Like, because that is kind of what you ran into. Or
doctors,
like,
they don't know what they're talking about.
They're like, this is what the doctor said. And you're like, well, the doctor's an idiot. I'm right. Look at my healthy child. And,
come on. She's proof, right? Yeah. No, it's definitely interesting, because I do get the look like, you guys, why isn't this been done already? Like, why aren't other people doing this? And I don't know. But I do know that the market is changing. I do know now that as we're being made more aware of our health and what we eat and how much it matters, that everything is changing. And so now is the time. And moms are demanding it. Tube-fed people are demanding it, that we're not going to just settle for eating, a diet of, sugar. Yeah.
No. So you go out there, you start interviewing manufacturers and processors, and how did you know that you found the right partner, or have you not, or do you have a great one now? I mean, how are you amazing. Like, boo, the light bulb kind of moment it came on, you're like, this is it. This is who I need.
Well, and it wasn't quite that easy. We had found a manufacturer, but then they're like, I have these high expectations. Here's the way I want things to work. And they're kind of like, we can't find that for you. It's not out there. We've done as much research on this as we can for you. And so I don't think we're going to be able to help you any further. And I said, okay, well, thank you. And all right, I'm going to find it myself. I'll figure it out. I'm like calling all over looking to find what I need and, what will meet my specs. And so once I finally kind of found what I thought would work, that was almost probably a year later.
Yeah.
I came back to them because I really appreciated, the people and the company and the support they were giving. And so I came back to them. And so they have been absolutely amazing. They have walked me through every single stage. And I have been so grateful for their help. So once we found the manufacturer, then it was just a matter of, just a matter of
simple. Yeah.
Right. No big deal. Finalizing the formula. And we did a lot of testing with the manufacturer, just what's going to work. And, we've sent out stuff, or, we had people testing our formulas.
Sure.
Does it work? Because there's so many different ways that you can do tube feeding.
Yeah.
You can bolus feed with a syringe. You can use a feeding pump. You can gravity feed. And there's different brands of pumps and everything. There's just so many different ways, and having different people try it and see if it's working for them.
Right, because each tube-fed person has some different needs, or what works for their family or their situation, right? I mean,
And so what we did was, once, we had our manufacturer, we created some meals, we had people testing it, and we got their feedback, and then we had to go back and readjust and change things. And so it's been quite the process.
Sure.
But I am very grateful that I stuck it out, and we just kept moving forward, even though we've run into hurdles, Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what was it like that day when that first bag, the kale, quinoa, and berries bag, showed up at your house?
Yeah.
Were you like excited and like overjoyed
Yeah.
at the same time? It must have been just absolutely amazing.
It was really amazing, and very, just a lot of disbelief of how did I actually get here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, is this happening? And I just eternally grateful to, all the people that have invested in me and believed in me and helped me through that process.
Yeah. I almost kind of like that analogy of, it felt like 10,000 failures turned into a success.
Yes,
almost.
absolutely.
Like, I felt like I failed the whole time.
Yes.
Here I am holding a bag of
Even
kale,
now.
quinoa, and berries, like freeze-dried, tube-fed baby formula. Like,
Right.
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I created this.
Yeah.
Right. With a great team, I'm sure, too.
Yes, absolutely. And it's very, it's very empowering to, like, okay, I have accomplished a serious feat here.
Sure. Yeah.
I had an idea. I went through the production, we produced it, and now it's in my hand, and people are benefiting from it. Like,
yes. Mm-hmm.
I have this one story I just love. There was a woman, she's a young woman, she's 21, and she's on hospice, and we knew that she was going to eventually pass away.
Sure.
But her sister was caring for her and contacted us and said, she stopped eating. She's not going to eat anymore. Can you help us? And I right away sent them a bag of food, and like, oh, she took it. Like, she's eating it. Like, and eating, I mean, right? She's consuming it. They're eating it. She's accepting it, tolerating it. And then I hear a week or two later, like, oh, she had sores in her mouth, and they're healing up.
Wow.
Oh, she had rash. They're going away. Like, she's improving. Her energy is better. Like, all these really, like, she's doing better.
Yeah. She's enjoying her life more. Like, it's almost like the nutrients we put in our body matters.
I imagine that.
Crazy.
Right? I know. Let's not get carried away. But yeah, so I heard this story, and then the nurse was like contacting me, like, do you have, like, what is this? How do we get a hold of it? I want this for me. They're talking to the doctors about it. It's been really, amazing and so satisfying to see a product that I create benefit someone and their loved ones, and just really, it's just so heartwarming.
Yeah, I mean, helping somebody's quality of life go through the roof is probably the greatest thing you can do.
Especially someone that is hurting. It's not like, oh, my drink is a little colder for a little longer. You know what I mean? Right. It's not like a minor convenience. This is a huge deal for people.
Yes.
So you have the huge win of getting your product in the mail and everything, but and now it sounds like, with that last story, you're getting validity from the medical community. Like, hey, this is awesome. What was that process like for you to then say, I need to, document the validity, get this to be something that insurance will cover, like, and make this something that,
Right.
is just more out there and accepted because, you're still going to, any new product is going to run into that.
There's a lot of education that goes with this, definitely. I feel like I educate all the time, which good thing I love it. Like I enjoy teaching people about real foods and the differences between, commercial formula and real food. And so I talk about it all the time, like nonstop to everyone. And even I take every opportunity, every doctor's appointment. Hey, doctor, did you know?
Yeah.
And so I am always teaching about it. And, getting covered by insurance was a huge deal. It's an application process, but this accomplishment of being able to say, you can go have your doctor write a prescription for my meals is pretty amazing.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. It's pretty fun. And then now I'm walking through with people like, how do you get insurance to cover? Because insurance, never wants to cover anything, right?
Right. Yes.
And so, how do we get insurance to cover? And then, how do I get it supplied? So there's some medical supply companies carry it for them. And it's really been a lot of process of getting all that infrastructure set up.
Gotcha. Okay. What has been this? So you have a product now, right? You're like, oh, great. I have bags of, kale, quinoa, and berries meal. Now you got to sell it.
Right.
And you got to market it and you got to distribute it, right? That's not, again, that's a huge other hurdle.
And kind of goes into the whole like, hey, if you do what you love, or if you're building a business of something you love, there's a whole lot of stuff around it that you don't love that you have to do. You can't just be like, someone else will market my.
Please.
Yeah.
Can I just not?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's a lot to do that is really difficult, and I don't want to do it. And what I have done to like, sometimes you just suck it up and do it, but sometimes like when you're really hitting a wall of something, maybe it's not just that you're like, it feels like, oh, I just don't want to do it because it's hard, but maybe it's like, it's really inhibiting your growth.
Yeah.
Then outsource.
Right.
Like, I really believe in that. Like, okay, these are not, my strength is not maybe like editing the picture here. That's not my strength, right?
Yeah.
Like I can create a formula for you, but I don't know how to edit the picture. All right.
Yeah.
And so, all right, I have a volunteer that does that for me, right? Like I have asked for help. Like one of the things I did when I launched was, hey, I'm launching this company. This is how, and I need help.
Yeah.
Who wants to participate? And I found people that have cared enough about me and cared enough about the product, that believe in what I'm doing, that have joined forces with me. And I could not do that without them, And so I have someone that helps like edit pictures and do all that stuff. And I appreciate that because otherwise I felt like, I wasn't doing what needed to be done,
right.
And so sometimes like maybe you are falling down in an area, but okay, then you need to ask for help. You need to outsource. You need to pay someone else to do it. Whatever your budget says, that's what you do. You don't say, oh, it's not happening. I guess we're done.
Right.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
No, you suck it up. You figure it out and you keep moving.
Yeah. So I kind of want to go back to that question about the distribution process, right? So you're sitting here. What was the first run of the quinoa berries product? I mean, how many bags did you make? What was the first?
So we did 1,000 pounds.
Okay.
So we did 1,000 pounds to start with, which is a small, small
yeah.
run. But I was like, is this going to work? Like, are people really going to buy this?
Right.
How's this going to work?
1,000 pounds
right?
in the garage. Like, you're like, hey,
Story Grace is eating well for a while.
Yeah, I got your
and
like
boys,
kale. Yeah.
And boys, you're eating too.
Yeah, everybody's eating this. Yeah. Guess what's for breakfast?
Yeah. Here
Sitting the table with straws.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So we started with 1,000-pound run. And then, we've added meals and added runs. And we're also looking to partner with a company. And we will see where that goes to. Yeah. But I'm very excited. They're an amazing company. And we have good things in store for the future.
That is awesome.
So so what was your first go-to-market strategy? Was it just, hey, I'm going to sell this on Facebook, or I'm going to using my Instagram account, or the other two?
Market, or
what did you do?
I'm a part of a group of tube-fed people that there are 10,000 people.
We can go tubies. That's okay.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. Good. I'm a part of, this Facebook group where I knew that I could at least say, hey, I have a product. Y'all need it. Right. Yeah. And so, and that's basically what I've done for now is Facebook, Instagram, like social media.
Yeah.
And, but then, you drive the people to your site, you have people reorder, and you grow from there. And so that's how I've started. And a lot of the moms that that are looking for this are on Facebook, so that's been a huge platform, but I think is really interesting and challenging. And today it's not, you have one, oh, hello, I'm Autumn. People call in or email or mail a letter, right? You have all these different outlets. Like you have Instagram, you talk with people. You have Facebook, you talk with people. Maybe someone that knows how to work Twitter does that. I don't, but other people.
Jack Dorsey, fix your site, please. Come on, make Twitter usable again.
And so, you know what I'm saying? So other people that, there's so many different outlets and so many people approaching you from different social media sites and email and calling. It's been very interesting to juggle everything. Yeah. So
are people calling you directly? Are you sending it out? Are you using Shopify? I mean, how are you kind of doing that now? Is it? Yeah, do you have 1,000 pounds sitting in your garage?
Yeah, dear Lord, no. No.
You're like, hey, son, we got another order. Go print out the labels. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd appreciate that. No, I have a shipping fulfillment company that takes care of all that for me.
Perfect.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. How'd you go about finding them? I mean, did you interview a whole bunch, or was it just these were the ones that worked?
No, they were recommended to me by the manufacturer.
Okay.
So, and I called a few people. And I talked to each different, company, and then I picked the one that I like the best. And I feel like everyone around me has been amazing. Yeah. Like, I just don't have complaints. But I worked really hard finding someone that would work too. I did my research, and sometimes it'd be like, oh, let's just call it good. Yeah. But I was because I'm, just a mom.
Yeah.
I was
just a mom.
I was so concerned with making a wrong step.
Yeah.
With doing things, not all the way.
Yeah.
And so I really made sure I took the time, really have conversations with these people, understand how they do business, what their values are, and then move forward from there.
Very cool. So what's next for Whole Story Meals? I mean, you don't have to, you don't have to give any trade secrets, but obviously there's a much bigger market for amazing food than just, I mean, I have all my, CrossFit weightlifting buddies. Yeah. They're always looking for the next new
right. So
thing.
obviously, so obviously Whole Story Meals is something that everyone can have.
Yeah.
I usually do a couple scoops in 8 ounces of water or milk, whatever, depending on how many calories you want. And so you could shake it up and eat it and super drink it, eat it. And I don't know if you've heard of a smoothie bowl. Have you heard of a smoothie bowl? So an acai bowl. So you could totally do a little smoothie bowl and it's amazing. I love it. It's really good. And so it's instant, right?
Yeah.
But it's super nutritious.
Right. Yeah.
So
hey kids, guess what we're having for dinner tonight?
Right. So there's a lot of different avenues and markets that different ways this can go.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, and I have so much for Whole Story Meals on this this grand vision that I have for it. That's really exciting because I joke. I have had people ask me where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to take over the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Watch out.
Yeah. Watch
Here
out.
I go.
Why not? I mean, yeah. And I mean, it's such a needed. Such a needed thing for not only for the tube-fed people, but just I don't know if you know this, but America's nutrition is not exactly amazing here in the United States. I can, for myself, included. Right. But there's
Exhibit A and B.
Exhibit A and B. That's right. Yeah. I was gonna ask if you were gonna make a Ben and Jerry's type.
No,
that couldn't be.
It's coming.
If I were to scoop that in my beers,
good.
Mixer.
Nice try.
Yeah.
I know powdered beers next. What you're talking about,
right? Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, I mean, but that's gotta be exciting, and you're obviously you want to go to the mass market, but obviously you're really helping people, right? You're this is an actual nutritious well-balanced meal, and I have proof that it works for, like you said, the most vulnerable people in our society. And that's got to feel pretty amazing.
Yes, it really does. It's been very satisfying, fulfilling to work on this project, and I've always said, like, I'm not a salesperson.
Yeah.
Like, I could not sell anything. Like, but I can talk about something I genuinely believe in and I love and couldn't live without. And so that has been what saved me is I've created a product that I genuinely believe is the best product on the market.
Yeah.
And I can talk to anyone about it and share it because, in my opinion, it has helped so many people, and changing to real food helps so many people. And I have people contact me all the time that are on commercial formula and they've never had real food. And I'll just sit there and help you. I don't care if you use my product or not.
Yeah.
I'll help you, teach you how to make, real food and blend it yourself for your child. Like, I just want to see your child well, or you well.
I mean, because basically you basically have a PhD in food science now, right?
I don't know.
And
Let's not get carried away.
But no, I mean, but you
an honorary PhD,
but
PhD
you know what I mean?
nonetheless.
An actual real world experience, like you've seen it work, right?
That's something that has been interesting, is going to these conferences with doctors and dietitians and seeing them stand up there and speak to this subject and completely miss, because they don't know what the real world is like.
Yeah.
And I saw a doctor, and he's an amazing doctor with, and the place he comes from is awesome, right? And then they're talking about doing this research, and we're doing this research, and we're doing it this way, and I'm like, that's not even how tubies do it.
That's not how this works. Yeah.
Right. So, but his heart's in the right place.
Yeah.
Like, he's trying, and I'm so grateful, and you get props for that, right?
It's like when I throw bags of whole story meals up on stage.
Try
Like, look
this
at
instead.
this!
Right? Like,
I already solved the problem.
Let me help you.
Now, can you give me half the money you're going to spend on research?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, it's been really interesting just to watch the experts discuss real food and then get it completely wrong, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
And so that's something I definitely want to work on, is okay, it's just lack of education.
Yeah.
It really is. And once we get the education out there and we start sharing, and even educated people need education, right?
Absolutely.
Even more in different areas. And
Yes.
so that's something I definitely want to help work towards.
Perfect. And it's kind of where you see whole story meals filling that niche of like, hey, we have proof that it works. We're changing people's lives. You can do all the research you want, but we have the proof is
right.
And this was not the byproduct of, we read some studies and we saw that there was a need. It was like, no, we were experiencing the inefficiencies of, the formula market,
Yeah. So what was it like the first time, so you have the meal sitting there, people are using it, and you're like, this is really a real thing. Like, it was an idea, a year and a half or 2 years ago. This is real. And you're like, I think, wow.
Where did you go from, because this is a little bit of a jump, but where'd you go from, like, I could make money to, I'm going to take over the world?
Yeah.
I know, right?
It's,
No, I don't know where that came from. I see it working, and I'm so excited about it and grateful for it. And I've decided to stop believing the negative things and just being like, okay, I can help more people. Like, I have more to offer now than the special needs community. Like, I've created something that's so amazing. It's formulated for our most fragile, but everyone can use it, right? So it's really been an interesting venture to just decide, like, I'm not going to stop here. I'm going to keep moving forward and keep creating, and I've been loving it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think there's so many times that you probably wanted to quit and you haven't, and you look where you are now, right? And that's inspiring to me. I mean, you got to keep going. You have to, even when all the smart people tell you you're crazy.
Right, I know.
Right?
I love that when they tell me, and I just kind of laugh because I don't know what to say when I have an educated person looking me in the face and telling me, well, I really think we should do, a diet of 55% corn syrup. I have nothing to say to you, right? You know, and that's fine if you choose to do that. But I have enough experience, and I've seen so much good come from this, and I see everything trending this direction. So
Big time.
yeah. And all markets, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
like
Yeah.
we're healthier.
So, kind of obviously running a business is not easy, and there's lots of facets between finance and marketing and, production and all of the fulfillment. Kind of what was the one that you're like, I really need to outsource this one thing? What was the thing you're like,
the first thing that you're like,
you're like, okay, I suck at this. Like, this is
The work part.
the
No,
work part. Yeah.
Definitely I've decided to get help with like the bookkeeping, accounting aspect of it. The receipts in a shoebox, like my accountant was just like, okay, Autumn, like
we need to have a talk.
let's do something with this. So yeah, like bookkeeping definitely is been an aspect that's been difficult and just being diligent with, and just it's not just like, oh, bookkeeping, but it's like understanding the proper ways to have like all these different clients or customers put into the system and set up properly. How do you bill? How do you invoice? How do you do a packing slip? I create all this from scratch, right? Like you start like, I'm not going to spend money on a program right now. I created all from scratch.
Why would I get QuickBooks? This yellow pad of paper was so cheap.
Oh my gosh, you should see my Excel spreadsheets. They're beautiful, right? They make me happy. Like, right? Why would I get a spreadsheet? Or why would I get, a program? So that's definitely been something, bookkeeping is just data entry stuff, like having someone help enter the data.
That's always and I will say from experience of working with other business owners, that is, if you're ever going to grow your business or make it expand, that's always, or especially if there's an exit down the road, that's the one thing they always go look at. That's usually a mess. I mean, we have DCA partners that we know really well, and they usually spend 3 years with a company just getting their books in order. And so it's a huge issue, and it's not something that, if you're not an accountant type person, I mean, me and Mark joke all the time. I mean, we're good with finances and money, but the actual detail, keeping the receipts, that's not our strong point. That is not. And you need to outsource people. And there's people. The crazy thing is when you find out in life, there's people that love doing that, and there's people like, oh my gosh, just give me some receipts in a spreadsheet. I'm in my happy place. And then for me, I'm like, I would rather do anything than that.
Is jury duty going on?
Right.
You're like, hey, Mark, you have to reconcile this. I'm like, I'm gonna go pass judgment on jury duty. Sorry.
Right.
You do find those things that you're just not.
So that's what I believe. Like, really, if I am struggling with something, I don't want to wait too long.
Sure.
Because like, you don't want that 3 years. No, we're not doing that. Like, and I'm particular. I want things done a certain way. And I think, most entrepreneurs we have these expectations.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
That's why we do have a product, is because we've demanded a certain, excellence in our product.
Yeah, absolutely.
And did you go straight to like, just maybe going from Excel to QuickBooks to hiring someone, or are you just like, you know what, I'm hiring someone?
No,
it's worth it.
I tried it on my own, like for a few months. Eventually comes down to like, where's your time better spent? Like, where's the most valuable? I'm like, no, this is definitely a waste of my time, is trying to sit here and do the books. And I know someone out there is going to be fabulous at it, right? And they're going to do an amazing job, and it's not going to be quite as painful. So
you want to tell your boys like, hey, I'd love to go backpacking or hiking today, but Mommy has to enter these receipts.
Right,
so
exactly.
And those are typically not checks that you are hesitant to write. Right? Like you're not like, oh, I just hate it. You're like, I am happy to write this check and get this off my plate.
Yes. No, my children think since I work from home that I don't really work, actually. So.
Right. Yeah. Like, Mom's always home.
Yeah. She's just hanging out at the computer. What are these numbers? That's what they ask me. What are these numbers?
What does this mean?
You're like, I don't know. And that's the problem.
That's why.
Can you help me? Maybe the 9-year-old.
What are you learning in math? Maybe that's going to help.
Yeah. So we'll kind of just switch topics a little bit. There's always this myth of, if you just do what you love, you're going to enjoy and you're never going to work a day in your life. We think that's total BS. Wouldn't you agree? I mean,
to some extent. Like, I definitely feel like if I was doing this for something I didn't have the passion and drive for, then it wouldn't be done, right?
Yeah.
But since I am doing something that I love and that really makes me feel like I'm helping people, then I definitely it makes it easier. But there are so many days when I'm just like, can I just check out and go do something different? Like, can I do it from the beach? Like, what, how do I keep going? And some of what I've done is, if I have a day that it's just like entering receipts or whatever it is, I know it's going to be miserable, then I start off doing something. For me, I start off doing something I love, because that gets me started, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, if you're exercising, just start walking.
Yeah,
Eventually you'll start running.
Right. Yeah.
And that's how I am. So same for exercise too. It's like, with work, like I just start doing something I love. And eventually I know I'll come back around and I'll end with, okay, I know this has to get done. And you just suck it up and you do it.
Do it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's always the work aspect that has to be done. No matter how much you love doing something, there's the accounting, right? Or there's the posting on social media, or the things that just take time to do.
Right.
Mark and I were joking. We were doing a whole bunch of our video editing and basically all of our SEO stuff for our YouTube and podcast videos. And it just takes a ton of time.
It does.
There's no it just takes a ton of time. There's no program, or there's things that can help you, but it still takes time to do it.
They have yet to invent the button that just says optimize and it does everything for you.
Yeah.
It writes your
Right.
description. It's like,
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah. By the way, if anybody's doing that, come on, that's a good
Yes.
idea.
We're waiting.
Make the optimize button. That's easy button.
One thing I wanted to mention in the intro, my kiddos are 13, 11, and the twins are 9. So I think you were saying they're all under 11. I don't know if that matters.
13. Yeah, no.
I don't know if that matters, but just
quick side note correction. Her kids are 13,
11. Twins are 9.
Twins are 9. Okay, there you go.
Boys are,
I forgot you had twins. That's the whole other bag of crazy of chaos,
it's,
right? Like,
it's like Tasmanian devils.
Yeah. Yes. Being a father of 3 boys and a daughter, like I know.
Yeah, and the boys, there are 4 boys within 4 years.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Woo. Yeah. The thing we say at our house, like we make our kids go run laps. I know that sounds very mean.
No, I do that.
Yeah,
I followed my child with the van the other day to make sure he was running all the way around.
And it's nuts. You're like, you just need the energy release, right?
Keep going, move it faster.
And to kind of timestamp this, we're recording this in the time of COVID quarantine.
Yes.
And they were doing 8 hours of Zoom classes 2 days a week. And my poor kids are like, Dad, I don't want to play video games because I stared at another screen today. I can't do it.
Wow.
Yeah, they're just like,
That's
I can't
serious.
do it. Yeah.
Welcome to adulthood. That's why I don't want to watch a movie at the end of the day.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So mine's 2. Yeah, a little over 2. And my wife was a rather, we have a boy, having another boy. My wife was a rather tame child, and so there are times where she's like, "Why is he just running around screaming?" I'm like, because he needs to be outside. Like, it's just, that is part of the gig.
This is why we need the country.
Yeah. So, going into, to bring it back to the business also, building a business, but also building a brand, very, 2 very different things.
Yes.
So what, I guess, what advice would you have for people who are like, hey, I want to make sure that, the building the brand part does not get neglected, right? Like everything about like the look of the bag, whole story meals, and everything about like, your website, all has a theme centered around your daughter and why you did this, right? So, I guess what's kind of your emphasis on that?
Yeah. For me, this has been a really tough area because I have no natural giftings in this area. It's really difficult for me. I can see things and know what I like, and I'm very particular and exacting. Thankfully, the people, like I've said, that I surround myself are so gracious, and they love what they do as well, and they're so inspired. So that has been a help too. This has been, like I said, this has been a really difficult part for me, but it's such an important part. I think, I've seen some entrepreneurs where I think they have really great ideas, but they didn't care about this aspect. Like, oh, it's going to look fine. Just throw something up. Anything will do. I disagree with that. I think, first impressions matter, and it has to be very well done. But for entrepreneurs, we let that like also stop us from moving forward. And so I had to come to this part and, in my business where I'm like, okay, this is not perfect and this is not what I want it to be, but we have to have something. So we're going to move this forward. Right. And even like, I think in all our areas of like my life and in the business, it's like, okay, this is the best I have for now. And this is what I'm doing, but I have a vision in my mind, like what I want, and when I see it, and I'm like, we will get there, and it might not be today.
Yeah.
But eventually we're going to get where we have these, this perfect Instagram and this, whatever it is that we're looking for, we'll get there. It's not today. And I'm okay with that, because for me, my job, like what I'm doing, is I'm helping people. Yeah. And, the picture doesn't have to be perfect to help people. I just have to get the information out there.
Absolutely.
So there really is a balance with like, don't letting your perfectionism and your like hang-ups and the lines aren't straight,
right. Yeah.
Stop you from moving forward. And that really can, like, for a lot of people, I think, can paralyze us. It's like, it's not perfect, but you know what? You have to keep going and just know, okay, I'll come back to that.
Yeah.
I'm not done. I'll come back. We'll work on it.
Yeah.
We'll fine tune it in the future. We make a note of it. We'll come back to it. We'll do it better in the future.
Yeah.
And kudos to you. I would not have picked that up about you, that like you're not really into the branding side or design side, because I mean, really, it does look like that's something that your
brand is phenomenal.
Yeah, your brand is phenomenal.
I think for me, like I love it, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so in the beginning, like I really did enjoy that, but now because there's so many, I'm talking to dietitians and doctors every day, and manufacturers and all this stuff. I have so much on my plate.
Right.
For me to be in the headspace of to be creative and like beautiful, it makes it more difficult. And like I said, I went to bed at 2 last night because I had a sweet little girl like talking to me all night long.
Yeah.
And that makes it more difficult. Because I do have ideas and things I want to communicate to folks and share, like about my passion and my love for tubies and living the life of a special needs mom or, a single parent.
Yeah.
But the real life, the real world situation is that I'm tired and I can't, I don't remember my grammar. I don't remember my punctuation. And even having this, like, I've got this amazing thought, but I'm in the middle of a feeding or changing diapers or whatever it is. It's gone.
It's gone.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So for me, that's been really difficult, maintaining, even though, I used to feel like I did well at it decently, but now it's just like, that's part of my brain that's turned to mush over this process of being an entrepreneur and creating a business and trying to, be a mom to 5 and keep the home running and functioning. It's just like, it feels like that's part of, an area that's kind of lacked for me, like has struggled, because to maintain that, it's like, you want to write from a place that's positive and you can really like invest and put some thought and energy. I remember sitting next to someone that's good at it. Shanti Hodges, she blows my mind. We were sitting down having this conversation after the Marital Magic thing, and she was fully engaged.
Yeah.
And she wrote an entire post and posted it on Instagram in our conversation.
Yeah.
Now that's a person that can create some content, folks, and like just continue with her day. And the punctuation was, I went back and really studied this.
Like, how did you do that? Yeah.
That's amazing.
It is a very,
that is not me.
Yeah.
No.
Not me either.
No.
Yeah. You kind of makes you feel kind of jealous sometimes. You're like, how did, that would have taken me a day.
Right?
A whole day, like nonstop, 8 hours.
Start thinking like, did I ever pay attention to any of my English classes?
No.
Yeah.
I know.
Like, when
this is done, and where are you when I need you?
My 6th grade teacher would be so disappointed in me.
I know.
Yeah. So, as you've kind of gone through this process, what has kind of made you be consistent and grounded? Because this thing could have probably, taken over your life, and you could have, neglected your kids or let other areas of your life kind of fall apart. How have you kind of done that?
Yeah. Well, I do a lot of praying, and I talk to my family. That really helps me, and then definitely getting outdoors. Obviously for me, it's a big thing to really just rejuvenate me and bring everything into perspective. And for me, when I walk into, the woods or, I'm out in nature, I just look around, I'm like, wow, God loves me so much. This is so amazing, know? And it really just changes everything in my soul. And so it just is a total, reset.
You ever kind of sit back and be like, I think I finally found out this is what God put me on this earth to do, maybe.
Oh,
yeah. Was to make food for tubie babies and inspire people.
Absolutely. Because, I mean, I just think about my life. And back in about a month or two ago, I went to DC and spoke with members of Congress about some legislation, regarding real food and tube-fed people. And, just I was like, how am I here talking about this? And then it's like, what did I do? Okay, I was a combat medic. My dad's a chiropractor. My mom owned a natural food store. Like, they instilled the value of, health in me.
Right.
And then I have a special needs child thinking, and then actually after that, I did political fundraising, which seems to have nothing to do with anything, right? Like with what I'm doing now. But then I was around the political area and I learned the system and how things work. And now I have this meal and this amazing community that I want to go fight for in DC. And it's like, okay, here's everything coming together. I genuinely believe that God put me here just for this, because I mean, going from combat medic to political science, right? And now I'm a special needs mom, making food for tube-fed people. It's pretty random. And so, but I feel like I have this unique ability to help be a voice for tubies and to speak for them, and definitely talk and get something changed, like I can be a voice that, for them, a lot of our tube-fed people, they can't speak. They can't tell you, I don't want your commercial formula. It's not working for me.
This is literally killing me on the inside.
I don't feel well, and, some will cry when it's time for feedings, and they'll go on for years because that's the option, There are no options. So, so I think I genuinely believe that God put me here for just this specific.
And that's the best place to be.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we're gonna kind of wrap the episode up there. We're gonna kick into the speed round for this one, and go from there. So, Mark, first speed round question. Here we go.
Yes. And so, hopeful goal for Whole Story Meals. I know you said you have something coming down the line. You don't have to spill the beans if you don't have to, but if you could give us some teasers.
Ooh, a teaser.
Give us a teaser.
How do you do this? Yeah. Well,
and it can't be I'm going to take over the world, because we already covered that.
But that's okay. But that's
what's the intermediate step?
Intermediate. Well, I'm working on this amazing partnership with a really awesome company, and so that is going to be an exciting new step for us. Definitely, we have more meals coming out.
Yeah.
That is a big deal for, I definitely want to support variety, and a lot of us can't tolerate, we can't tolerate pizza. We got to have a different meal for that,
Sure.
So variety in meals is definitely something like I am super excited about, and I know a lot of other tubies, that's what they always ask about. When are our next meals coming? So that's definitely a big deal.
Very cool. I'm still voting for the Ben & Jerry's ice cream meal.
It's
I
coming.
I don't know where that is on the health scale, but the deliciousness.
I cannot wait to come back and talk to you all about it. So it's all there. It's all in the head.
Yeah, the cookie dough one would be great.
But it's
an idea for
it's going to be sized down for like how much you should actually have. So you're going to get like this tiny scoop, and you're like, that's depressing.
I'll have 3, I guess. Yeah. So, I mean, this product has Shark Tank written all over it. I mean, this is like
we can't be the first people to mention this. I mean,
when are you going to be on Shark Tank? When is that happening?
No.
Do you need us to help you fill out the application?
Come on. Which shark would you prefer to work
who
with?
would you work with?
Okay, I hate to tell you guys, but I have never seen Shark Tank.
Never.
No, I have.
Well, I'll answer this one for you.
You now have homework.
Yeah. So
you're not
going
to
want to. You guys have to tell me what you think. Like, who do you think the best?
Yeah. I mean, I know Mark Cuban does a lot of food investments, and that's kind of right up his alley. Mr. Wonderful always does.
He always wants a royalty.
He always wants a royalty deal. Boo.
Boo.
And Damon John, I just love his passion of is just an amazing.
Yeah,
he's amazing.
If you want to tap into the QVC realm, then Lori. But
so you're gonna have to check out a couple episodes. But seriously, this would be great. If we can help you do that,
you are checking all the boxes of most of the people who get on that show.
See, here we go again. Not wanting to be in front of the camera, not wanting to. I hear it. I hear a lot of people like ask me about that and push me towards that. And I have a friend that she did that, and I'm like, congratulations! Like I have an amazing investor.
A $500,000 check.
I don't know if that's good enough. I'll be driving a hard bargain. In that arena.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
They're not buying it from you. They're just partnering with you to be like, hey, how do we make you? So. Yeah. I want you to be on Shark Tank.
Yeah.
I want to see that episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man.
I'll let you present.
Yeah.
Done.
You want to take the last one?
And then so for moms and dads out there who maybe have a venture that they want to some business idea. What's your advice as far as balancing the work and family aspect? Because I think everyone at least knows someone who's like, oh yeah, my dad was a total workaholic, or my mom wasn't really around much because she was working on what advice do you have for just striking that balance?
Yeah. Well, again, this is a really difficult area because having children that are so needy and want all your attention and all your time and wanting to do that, but then having real demands of I remember one time that was really discouraging for me was I was like, I had all my work done. It's school's out. I'm picking up my kids. I'm spending this time with my children. And then I had this, important phone call that I had been waiting for like a week.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I have to take this. And so there are those instances when it's like, okay, you do make this choice. Like, okay, I've been waiting for this phone call. I have to take it. But then, for me, what I have tried to do is really like work during the day, like when my children are in school or in the morning, 4 a.m. Right. Has worked really well for me, and try to be done in the evening. And then sometimes when that's not realistic, I'll be like, okay, at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I set a time frame and say, okay, then we're done and we're moving on to the next thing. And you really have to shut things off and walk away. And that it is a huge challenge for sure. And but something I have also want is, I want to teach my children hard work, the value of hard work. I want to teach them that, money doesn't grow on trees, that you have to invest the time and the energy to create something. Sure. And I also want to teach them and I know, so this hiking that we're doing up in Cool, for me, it's more than just hiking for me. It's, okay, teaching my children to observe what's around them, where there's a need, follow the rules, know when to break the rules, really engage their senses and their mind, and do a lot of, because when we're in school, you're receiving a lot of information and then you're just regurgitating it back. Right. And, at this age, especially at my younger kids' age, and it's like, I really want to help them, to teach them to think analytically and, kind of push the boundaries a little bit. So I try to, for me, because I work from home, getting outside of the house has been important for us. As, all right, this is something we do that brings us all together. And are we as a family, what are we going to sacrifice for this company, and for this lifestyle we're trying to achieve, and so, and it's individual to every single person. How is it going to work for them? For me, I choose to get up in the morning early, that's when I'm best, and really pour into my work, do as much as I absolutely can, so that during the day, people that are contacting me, I'm answering their calls, I'm answering their emails. But hopefully by the end of the school day, I'm able to be like, okay, I'm done. Now is my time with my children.
Yeah. Gotta kind of cut off that boundary to keep moving forward.
And then with the occasional exception, which, you have to realize okay, we've got to take some calls every once in a while.
Yeah, it's just that's how life works sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes that's the only time people can meet.
Right. Absolutely. And every once in a while you'll have that. Oh, this is a really important call. I've got to do this. So.
Yeah. And kids are resilient, and they understand. They know. Absolutely. Yeah. Perfect. Well, awesome. I think we'll kind of end the episode there. Yeah. Okay. Autumn, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. We are very excited about what Whole Story Meals has ahead for it. Yeah, thank you so much. This has been amazing. You
can't wait for that Shark Tank episode.
Yeah, it'll be amazing. It'll be amazing.
Yeah. Oh gosh, keep dreaming.
Yeah. So really go back. How can we get a hold of? How can people find you? Get a hold of you? I mean, obviously Google is an amazing thing, but how can? So wholestorymeals.com is my website, and then on Instagram you can find us at wholestorymeals. And then of course, if you want to follow my family personally, you can get me at Raise 'em Wild. Raise 'em Wild, perfect. You want to see some great videos of Story Grace and the boys out backpacking, and again, I'm gonna plug it again. Go watch the website under video that Meryl did for you guys. It is phenomenal. You're probably going to tear up a little bit. I know I'm maybe a little bit of a softie, but it is an amazing video. So huge shout out to Meryl again and Backpacker Magazine for the teams there. That was very, very cool. Yeah, that must have been a neat experience. Oh, it was amazing. And I'm like eternally grateful because they just gave my family this gift in such a difficult time that we were going through. I was going through the divorce, and my family was just really struggling, and it was just like this sweet gift. Fresh air. That's awesome. Yeah. Perfect. Anything for you, Mark?
No, except for I know we hammered it. We said this at the first episode, the second episode. Clearly, whatever is holding you back from chasing whatever that idea is, after these past 2 episodes, you should really feel like you have no excuse. Right. Like, plug down, work hard, ask questions. You're not being annoying. Keep pushing. Take pauses. I mean, the list goes on from just what we've pulled these last 2 episodes. And you're not probably going to be an overnight success. I mean, you've been working on this, 2.5, 3 years now? Yeah. It's taken some time to get here. You don't just show up with amazing meals on your desk. Right. Yeah. So absolutely dedicate your time to it and just keep working. Yeah. Perfect. Absolutely. So, well, again, Autumn, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Yeah. Make sure to check out wholestorymeals.com. We're going to end the episode there. Remember, anything that's said here should not be taken as tax, legal, or financial advice. Please consult your attorney, CPA, financial advisor, or any other advisor before you make any decisions. If you need some help, let us know here at info@wealthpreservationpodcast.com. We have some great resources, people that we can point you in the right direction. If you have questions, make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and check out these videos and shorts on YouTube. They're all there. Enjoy. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.